Ladies and gentlemen, hey ho, let's flow. Okay, I'm Wilson and everything on this channel is dedicated to getting you, if you want, into the flow state. So what I'm going to share with you today is two useful things that is going to set you up to be positioned to have a greater ability to get into the flow state and essentially establish more flow into your life and maybe even flow on a consistent basis. To understand what I'm going to explain to you, first thing is you have to understand my Scottish accent. If you don't understand it, I think the subtitles on this page, okay? Now, there is a cycle that we go through, okay, to get ourselves into the flow state. So, flow state, the direction, El Capitano, there is what we're aiming for. Now, to be able to get ourselves to that, we have to understand that we're going to go through what is called our struggle phase. We'll then go through a release phase. Then we'll hit a recovery. Now the recovery is something that we cannot overlook. When you are kicking ass inside the flow state, your body's releasing powerful neurotransmitters and hormones. These are potent reward chemicals. They make you feel amazing, right? It's addictive, flow. Really is addictive. Let's take one in particular, one neurotransmitter. I'm just pulling out the sky here. Dopamine. Dopamine, plain, it's actually the pursuit neurotransmitter as well as a reward. Let's, for this idea, think of it as reward. This here is a seesaw, okay? So the pain pleasure mechanism, dopamine, is kind of like a seesaw. Whenever you get this profound high released by the dopamine, you feel fantastic. Okay, you need to get the equal dip on the other end. So when you get that reward, you also need to get that bit of discomfort after it. If you try and hide from that discomfort, what's going to happen is you're actually going to deplete your dopamine levels past a baseline score, and it takes up to about 30 days to replenish them back up. Now, if you don't do that, if you try and get that deeper flow again, then think about it, it'll apply as well. The intensity of that flow will dip. So you must acknowledge the importance of the recovery and don't try and bypass it because you will get that significant dip later. So when you exit flow is really important, and also implementing correct recovery. But on this video, I want to speak a little bit more about this here, the struggle phase, because if we begin to reformulate that and see its opportunity, it will change the dynamics for you to get into the flow state. You'll see this more as opportunity. But what normal people see it as, or in, is they're in this struggle phase and it makes them feel frustrated, anxious, tight. There is a build-up of tension when they're in that frustration of struggle. They know where they want to go, but they just can't find the release to get them in there. They can't find the way to get through it. Now, generally what happens when they're in this state is maybe a sense of overwhelm, procrastination. Overwhelm is looking at maybe doing too much, whereas what you want to do is simplify the struggle phase. Simplify it so you're doing, it appears that it's like you're doing less is more, okay? And to do this, you also implement things called chunking, where you make whatever that task is into a smaller portion. You chunk it up. A way of chunking it up is to apply the 80-20 principle on that. So for example, I want to find flow in my business. You might look here at the grand scale of the whole thing, whereas if you chunk it down and maybe put it into sections, I want to find flow in sales. It's still big, right? But you would chunk it down further. So on that note, you would apply the 80-20 principle. And then you would apply the 80-20 principle again, make it even smaller, chunking, get it to a small bite-sized portion of it, okay? So you implement that to transform that struggle into something more achievable. There it slowly becomes opportunity. Now inside that, that struggle to opportunity and implementing the strategies to make that task smaller, you can then bring your awareness of what I've spoken about in other videos of tuning yourself into flow. Now when you do that, when you tune yourself into the feeling of flow, and you understand that flow sits between that sympathetic, parasympathetic dance, so whatever challenge I am forcing or going towards, my skill levels kind of match that at a progression. My nervous system is at a dance there, so I know how it feels. So I can change that struggle, overcome that obstacle, that resistance, to trigger myself into the flow state when I make the task smaller and when I purposely tune myself into this state here, this flow state. I work with my nervous system instead of against it. Sympathetic nervous system, fight or flight. Parasympathetic nervous system, rest and digest. When people face that struggle portion, they're generally up a heightened sympathetic state, right? That means that this is too much, overwhelming, suffocating their progression, suffocating their ability to get into here. So instead, chunk it up, as I was saying, and then do exercises to purposely get you into this state. This is the things that we do on this channel, and we teach inside all our programs that we do. So when you learn to work with your nervous system, to have a plan, a strategy in place to get up here, you are going to be singing and dancing, my friend. Singing and dancing, right? Now, that wave is always happening, right? It's always going on. You're always going to be either in the struggle phase or the recovery phase. Whereas when you begin to transform it, the struggle recovery phase seems like opportunity, seems like priming to get ourselves up here into that flow. Here is where you can begin to establish more predictability of getting yourself into the flow. In essence, finding a life in flow. Because when you transform that correctly, you will find this progression, this dance between the sympathetic nervous system here, and you will also feel it here. Work with your machinery, work with your nervous system, rephrase or position that word struggle in your mind so you see it as opportunity for flow. There's where you will get significant returns on whatever you're looking to accomplish. Okay? This was good, right? It was good. Let me know how good it was. If you didn't think it was good, don't let me know how good it was. I'm a Cancerian, highly emotional, sensitive, okay? Don't leave a comment. But if you've got something nice to say, leave a comment. Okay, listen, thanks very much for watching. And if you need me for anything, reach out, I'll be happy to help. If you need any specific videos made up, again, reach out, I'll be happy to help. Ciao for now.